Let's say you want to play a video game. Bad choice already, but what difficulty do you choose? Normal? Easy? Hard? What do you think the intended difficulty is? What if you're an elite pro gamer that likes a challenge? Do you bump it up to very hard? What if you want to upset all gamers in a 400-mile radius? Do you go for easy? It's not that simple. The waters are muddied further when different difficulty settings change the game in significant ways. Minecraft's peaceful mode removes any kind of threat at night or in caves, allowing you to mine and craft to your heart's content without any explosive results. Super Mario Odyssey's Assist mode allows the game to reach its target market of 3-year-old children by adding a whole host of features to make the game more accessible. But sometimes we see the rare spectacle of the slider buffet. For better or for worse, the slider buffet gives developers complete control over the little bitty elements of their game. For example, Thief lets you tweak things such as guard awareness or the noise that you make, and that's honestly the only thing I actually remember about Thief. I think I played it for like an hour and I was like, I'm just gonna play Dishonored instead, or maybe read a book. Allowing this much control over the gameplay elements can change the game in a pretty major way. Speaking of Dishonored, did you know that you can turn the objective markers off? It's a UI option that isn't tied to the difficulty, but it forces you to observe your surroundings, listen to the hints in the game world, and follow your instincts on where to go. Try it, you'll find yourself exploring every nook and cranny of the game. These features make our question of what is the intended experience a little more hopeless, because all of these options are in the game. A better question might be, to what point are the developers responsible for enforcing the intended experience, and can anything interesting happen from not enforcing it? What happens when we remove the wolves from the Long Dark? Okay, so what is the Long Dark? The Long Dark is a survival game born from the frozen embers of DayZ. We saw a lot of DayZ and its derivatives, but the ones that are still standing and that we're actually talking about today understood that it was more than just babysitting a few meters on the bottom of your screen. The Long Dark makes you feel desperate. You see the clock ticking down in front of your very own eyes, and you have no idea if this drawer is going to contain a tin of food or the can opener that you actually need to eat the tin that you already have. It's not exactly a smooth ride. The Long Dark had the cold on its side too. While there were hordes of games about battling hordes of zombies, the Long Dark pit you off against Mother Nature herself. It was one of the first games that actually did the whole survival thing as part of the original design, instead of having to Portuguese man o' war it over the keyboard to drink some water. You scavenge supplies, hunt for food, boil any water you find, and fend off a hungry pack of wolves. Unlike the mod strapped to the engine of a game that simulates every bullet while forcing you to scroll through a menu to open a door, the Long Dark feels like this package was designed for what it actually is. So the Long Dark has a lot of things going for it. It's really good, you should play it if you get the chance. One update that the Long Dark added was a slider buffet of its own, where you could adjust various things such as the weather and whatnot. There's a really interesting one where the game gets progressively colder and colder, or one where the stocks of animals will degrade over time. You know, if you ever feel like this year was just a little bit too cheerful. But there's one option that I'm really interested in. It's the one where you can remove the wolves, and the bears, from the game entirely. The primary source of conflict in the game will no longer exist. It's like if you took out the imposters in Among Us or the tomato from The Big Tasty. It changes it in such a significant way that it's very likely not the intended experience anymore. So let's see what actually happens when we remove the wolves from the Long Dark. You wake up outside in the freezing cold. You are alone. You call out to see if anyone is there, but you don't get a reply. It's freezing. You set off in a random direction, picking up sticks for firewood as you go. You wonder what happened, how you ended up here. Why is it so cold? And where is everyone? After walking for a few minutes, you reach a small logging camp with fallen trees stacked into organized piles, never to be towed to their destination. Nobody is here. In the distance you see the figure of a large deer. You watch it for a few moments before moving on. You pass through other camps, picking up sticks for firewood as you go. Eventually you reach the main camp itself. Surely someone here must be around to tell you what's going on, but to your surprise, the cabins are completely abandoned. One holds some spare clothes and a newspaper from 8 months ago, another holds a storm lantern. Could be useful. The third and final cabin doesn't have much of anything at all. You set off in another direction then, picking up sticks for firewood as you go. Your journey takes you to a railway. You spot an abandoned carriage. There's nobody inside. You do find a hunting knife though. You pick a direction to travel in, and that's when you spot it. Whoever it was, they're gone now. What happened to them? Did they really freeze to death in this cold? You won't find answers here, so you decide to follow the train track to its destination when something catches your eye. It's a hydroelectric dam. Surely, if anyone was still around, this would be the place to find them. Perhaps we could get it up and running. That would be nice. It's so cold. You'll need to get warm soon. Inside the compound, you find the decomposing corpse of a deer. At least it's not a human this time. Using your newly found hunting knife, you harvest some of the meat. Time to take a look inside. The place is dead. Nobody is here and the power is out. You search for supplies. You don't find much. You come across an old busted radio. Ah well, it was worth a try, I guess. You venture deeper into the depths of the plant, to the turbines themselves. You can't make head nor tail of how any of it works. It looks like this place has been abandoned for a while. Just when you think you've finished turning the place over, you find them. Gone again. Where is everyone? Are you really the last one left? There's nobody here. It's empty. You decide to leave the dam behind. You follow the river's journey, but your progress doesn't last long. Your path is blocked by a rock slide. You somehow manage to find a way around and carry on, picking up sticks for firewood as you go. It's freezing. You spot a cave and decide to take shelter. It's the perfect place for a fire, so you cook your meat, boil some water, and watch the embers crackle as you think about where you are. Who were you before? Do you have a name? And where is everyone? You take a short nap. It turns out you were sleeping with a roommate, but they weren't much for conversation. You replenish your stocks of meat and move on, picking up sticks for firewood as you go. It's getting darker. Good thing you've picked up that storm lantern from earlier. You light it and watch the lonely flame illuminate the walls of the cave. The winding, twisting paths finally open out, and that's when you spot them. Another one. You stop thinking about it and navigate your way out of the cave into the outside. It's foggy. You can't see in front of you. You think you're following a road, but honestly you're not sure. You can't stop thinking about the dead bodies. Who were they? Were they all like you? Did they all wake up the same as you? Will you end up the same way? Was it the cold that killed them, or something else? It had to be. Maybe they just got bored. They gave up. They saw the same world that you did, in disrepair, with nobody around to talk to, no electricity, but just enough food to survive. That could be it. Maybe they just stopped. You carry on for a long time through what seems to be an endless fog. But like all things temporary, it clears up and you find yourself on a small farm. A tiny chance, but maybe? You take a look around, salvaging some reclaimed wood in one of the small barns. You enter the large one. No one here again. The lights are out. No bodies this time, but not much in the tool drawer either. Maybe whoever owned this place is still out there, perhaps sharing the same questions that you do. And then you spot it. A note left behind. Perhaps this could be from someone who is still out there, someone you can find. But it's not. It looks to be some notes on agriculture. There's nothing here. You venture out into the cold once more. So what just happened? Well, we as the player made a completely different game. We took a game that was meant to be an unforgiving struggle against the elements and turned it into a tranquil experience. One where there's just enough conflict and things for you to do so you're actually engaged, but also one where you can zone out and think about other things. That's not to say that The Long Dark didn't offer this kind of thing during its downtime with Wolves, but turning them off brings that up to 11. We produced one rather expected result. The game was a lot easier. I could roam about wherever I wanted without fear of attack. I could let my guard down and relax a little more. But there's one result that was not expected. The game did a great job at conveying a sense of isolation, that you are the last person on Earth. There is nothing out there. Everyone is gone. It's a reenactment of those internet posts asking what you would do if everyone on Earth disappeared. The Long Dark was meant to be about how long you can survive, but since the game has been made easier, it's no longer about that. So what is it about? I don't think I have an answer. The Long Dark without wolves can only last for so long. Beyond a certain point, it's clear the game is just not designed to be played this way. After you've got a decent source of food, some comfortable clothes, and the means to repair them, there really isn't much left. You can explore the surrounding area, but there's nothing really out there. This is not what the developers wanted when they made their game. And that's okay. The developers of The Long Dark had a vision for what they wanted their game to be, and playing the game in this way just isn't a part of it. So, are the developers responsible for enforcing the intended experience? Well, I certainly hope not. I think developers need to trust their players, which I understand might be asking a bit much, to be responsible for their own experience of the game. Because if we didn't let players tinker around, we'd be missing out on so many cool things. Dota 2 is a game that was born from Warcraft 3's map editor. It's a shame to think of the productive things I could have actually done if Warcraft 3's map editor didn't exist, because I have played a lot of Dota. Super Smash Bros. Melee is one of my favourite games to watch. This is in large part due to a lot of the intentional and unintentional features that made the game more competitive, but it would have been for nothing if Nintendo decided to enforce the intended experience of leaving items on. Think of the combos we would have missed out on. So if you're watching this and you're making a game, reconsider. But if you are, try including a slider buffet and letting your players run amok. You'd be surprised at the new games that they design. Okay, this is why I talk into a microphone without words to read, and it goes incredibly wrong. Thank you for watching. If you want more, there's one more video you can watch on No Man's Sky, and it's good, I think, but you know what isn't good? Video games. You can go to videogamesabout.co.uk to read some words, such as a recent one where I wrote some words on Hades and roguelikes. Because roguelikes are weird, actually. Anyway, I forgot to record the rest of this outro, so bye!